Hi, my name is Kiara Dill, and I know that you probably can't hear me as well. It's because that I'm really under the weather. But I just want to go ahead and talk about my defining equity literacy videotape discussion and those two questions that we were talking about. But first, I want to give the definition of the equity literacy, which is equity literacy is a framework for cultivating the knowledge and skills that enable us to be a threat to the existence of inequity in our spheres of influence. And I read that from the Equity Literacy Institute uh, paper that we had to read, and also there was us to go over the two questions. Which discussion question number one is, in your words, explain how equity literacy educators can transform learning environments to address the needs of all students. Okay. So, how can we transform learning environments to address the needs of all students? Well, first of all, we need to have those four abilities, which are the ability to recognize even biases and inequities, our ability to respond to biases and inequities, our ability to redress biases and equities, and ability to create and sustain bias-free and equitable classrooms, schools, and institutional cultures. I do believe number four hits it right on the money where it says ability to create and sustain bias-free and equitable classrooms, schools, and institutional cultures. And it said that the educators can express high expectations for through high order pedagogies, and also it can consider how they assign homework and communicate with families, understanding that students have different levels of access to resources like computers and the internet, and you need to prioritize consideration of the needs, challenges, and barriers experienced by students who are from marginalized groups in each discussion and each decision about classroom, school, and district policy and practices. I do believe it is up to the educators to not only resource ourselves, but what we need to do first before we uh, give resources to the students. I do believe that we need to take time on this as educators because we do need to reach each group, no matter if they're low or high to low. We need to reach each kid. Um, and Number two, reflect upon an idea from your own schooling when you felt especially included, engaged, appreciated, and validated. Explain why it's important for students to be validated and appreciated in the classroom through an equitable learning environment. I think it says it for itself. I think every student wants to be a part of something, whether they're in different cliques or different types of learning environments. I think it's really really awesome when you have a certain thing and all the kids want to participate in it, no matter if they're the shy type or they're just the outgoing type. You have different kind of breed of kids in your classroom, and you need to know how to reach all of your kids in a classroom. So if that means that we have to make up a game that maybe that the students want to play, including the teacher, then that's what we're going to have to do as educators to really set the bar high for the students, as well as for us to make sure that the students are actually learning and understanding it, and not only have games for the kids, but to also see what they know. I'll usually have exit tickets at the end of the day, just one or two questions, basically just telling them, okay, so if they understand this, they'll understand this. If they don't understand this, then we need to do something else to progress them to do something even further. And I think we all need to give equity literacy a chance, which is by all means all language groups, all type of groups, whether it's just language, whether it's just different different socioeconomic groups, high, middle, or low, whether it's different language groups. It could be language barriers. It could be different types of groups to where you have to try to hit them where they can understand it and where it can click. And so I basically got most of my information from the handout from the Equity Literacy for Educators and the definition and abilities. And I just really want to let everybody know that this equity literacy, you use this a lot in your classroom. And I completely understand that if we just do this more often, the kids will begin to understand not only the material in the classroom, but they'll also understand material outside of the classroom. So I'm sorry this is so late. As you can see, I'm not really talking that well. I'm not feeling too well. But thank you guys. Have a great night. Love you. Have a great night.